I've been working hard on the railroad all day, the living long day. I've been working on the railroad just to pass the time away. Can't you hear the whistle blowing? Rise up so early in the morning. You can't hear the captain shouting. Gonna blow your horn. Oh, sorry, I haven't noticed you walking in. My name is Dave Seville, and I'm a music artist. I hate the chipmunks. Why? Because the ones I adopted cause a lot of mischief. Plus, they can freaking talk. The worst one is Alvin. He has done far too much crap to the point where I want to kick him out of my house, including having a house party while I'm away, nearly killing me while having a concert, trashing my house with a lot of food and more. God, those retarded chipmunks. Calm down, Dave. That's not what you're here to talk about. Anyways, I am here because I've had a strange encounter with a bootleg version of a movie called Prince of Egypt. For those who have not seen or heard about it, the Prince of Egypt tells a story about Moses and Ramses, where the two brothers of one of them being separated to do their own jobs, such as Ramses becoming the king of Egypt and Moses having powers that came from gods. Well, I discovered the bootleg version of this movie with my friend Dakota Fanning told me about it. One day I was just at my house, hanging with Zoom on the Zoom with my friends named Richard Fatchard, Princess Clara, Stephen Fry, Isaiah Vargas, Mr. Hector, Asia Chino, Bootleg, Leg Splinter, Walter Big, and Andy. We all had a discussion about how the chipmunks are a threat to me. Yes, I know the disease of 2020 isn't in my world, but I like to get in contact with my friends by a video call. I later ended the meeting so we can move on. All of a sudden, I got a knock on the door and I was greeted by Billy Bob Tanley and Colonel Sanders giving me an award of $125. I took it and wondered what I should do with it. Hours later, I made my decision, decided that I would spend it on a few movies at a store. So I did. 2 hours later, I got a knock at my door to see Dakota Fanning telling me about a weird version of the Prince of Egypt. I told her that I would check it out soon. Later that evening, I was sleeping in my bed until I heard the doorbell ring. I opened the door to see Ashley girls from recess selling Girl Scout cookies at 1 in the morning. I told them stuff and they left. The next morning, I got up and went to my backyard to shower by using a hose. Good thing no one sees me completely nude through the windows, so I didn't really get arrested. Anyways, I walked back to the streets and spotted some people near the bus stop, which I met some familiar people such as Clock King, Nedley, Bobby, Laura, Wes Anderson, and Lori Loud. They were all on a trip to this place called the Golden Heights. I got on the bus with them and life was fine. I arrived at the video store 4 minutes later and I went in. I spotted a whole bunch of movies that I'm familiar, including The Happy Time Murderers, Home Alone, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, Flushed Away, Spider-Man, and many others. I browsed through the collection and then saw something that caught my eye. It was in the kids' movies section, and I spotted what looked like a VHS of The Prince of Egypt. However, when I opened up the tape, I recognized that it did not have a link or ink or sticker label, and this label was entirely made of paper. I presumed that I was about to buy a pirated version of the movie. I slammed the tape on the counter saying if this tape was pirated or not. The store clerk, who happened to be Big Pete, said, "No, buddy, this tape is not pirated." Well, the whole version of Prince of Egypt. I bought it so I could know what it's about. I came here after that. Sooner or later, I checked the mail and noticed that I had paid the gas bill. When I got to my house, I felt the urge to pee, so as I went to the bathroom, I saw a hand, the hand opening the curtain, and when it opened, I screamed to where a little girl named Sophia, who was apparently using my bathtub. So she begged me not to call the cops, but why would I do that? I wouldn't call the police on a little girl. The reason why she's using my bathtub because she felt like moving in because her family was dead. I agreed with her deal and let her move in. Upon looking at her, she looked like JoJo from JoJo's Circus or Baby from Five Nights at Freddy's, the sister's location. Anyways, I told her that I'd be watching a very old, odd version of The Prince of Egypt. She asked if she could watch it too, and I said yes and inserted the tape. The tape started with a commercial that had Morstro and Verbry doing the Gangnam Style dance. So it was apparently a commercial claiming that you need to be at the Oscars to decide to bring back this famous dance routine. Then it went to the movie. But however, the boy on the moon and the DreamWorks logo blew up and blood was all over with the D shined poor kid. Sophia wasn't even bothered though. when it went to the opening song, which was Delivered Us. However, of the usual lyrics after they said mud, sand, water, straw, they sounded like a video game review. Here's how the song went. The way the heaps of the rooftops, the flips backwards to the face of the camera before falling head first dive was the full extravagant swagger of the black teen. I recognized a few people who were working at the Sphinx, such as Flying Dutchman, Edgar Mack, Beaver, for Joe Biden, Barry Scott, and many others. Then it cuts to what's the scene of the mother Moses about Bunny to send her new baby on a sun basket across the river. But however, the basket broke and the baby flew into some palace. Instead of showing the rest of the construction of the Phoenix, it immediately cuts to the scene where Moses and Ramses were racing on chariots. As they went fast, it shows some scene of Nick Jr. universes, including Dora the Explorer, the Backyardigans, The Lazy Town, and Blue's Clues, and many others. Dora and Boots saw Moses and Ramses speeding, and Boots proclaimed, "What's that? I wish I could tell you about the Nick Jr. characters, but I don't like the channel itself. Anyways, what happened is that made Sophia so shocked. The Ashley girls from Recess were just sitting there having their own glasses of tea on the stairs as they were building the Sphinx until it started shaking. The Ashleys fell out of their body and their bodies fell apart. Sophia covered her eyes for the rest of the scene. Then it cuts to the scene where Moses and Ramses were caught and they had to visit their father for punishment. Then it cuts to the intermission next, and then it showed where the next scene where Moses hides in the museum, and of course while singing. But of course it displayed a short film which had Dallas, Coleman, Alec Baldwin, and as an army of soldiers. When he fell asleep, he woke up and find himself in a My Little Pony Friendship is Action demonstration, when what happened in the original film, which of course that didn't happen. He walked around until Pinkie Pie came out of nowhere and she screamed, "Hey everyone, I found a human!" All the ponies came out from their hideouts and sang the song about welcome Moses to Ponyville. Moses felt charmed and then sang along too, until it was one guy named Albasa Ben Gray showed up with a gun proclaiming, "You shall die and experience the world of terror." Before he could shoot his gun, Moses woke up and then went to look at some art. After that, then it cuts to a scene where Moses pushes a man off the construction stairs. But however, there was some side beasts, of wild beasts running on the ground, but the man died. Later on, Moses was moving on the deserts, until he ran until he spotted then what's none other than Beavis and Butthead. I wonder what they would be doing in this movie. Butthead asked, "Do you have a match? Me and Beavis are trying to go camping." Moses tried to join them, but the night came and they came out of nowhere. Beavis and Butthead started chanting, "Fire, fire, send us fire, give us some morph for my dear North, or if I'll get the flat fire." The next scene, it showed Moses growing using a rowboat, which did not happen in the original film. Beavis and Butthead were now on the rowboat with them. They stopped at a very strange island with buildings scattered all over it. "Land ho!" shouted Moses. Just then, Ashley Spinelli from Recess welcomed them to the island, and she called it the Island of Canceled TV Shows. While on the island, Moses went to a church to find with Charmix as a preacher. Charmix had not been canceled, but because he still does YouTube, but he does this all day. All the newcomers of people in the church started singing songs like How the Black Church Would Do. Doesn't that sound imitated? So I do apologize. Anyways, the next scene then cuts to the big campfire scene, like in the original film. But none of the people that were in the original scene were mentioned at all. They did sing a song that was the standard version, but then it cuts to Moses going over to Ramses' boat, telling him to let his people go. But all Moses did was Ramses' name, and of course, with Spinelli said, "Let the people of Egypt go." Then Ramses then replied with, "Or what else, Ashley? Do not call me by my first name," said Spinelli, "or else these guys will send plague until you let them go," Spinelli said again. Then the people was talking about with the disco stew and Leonard Aspire. "Stop me what you're gonna do about it. The people will not let me go," Ramses said. "Alright then you have a big surprise by tomorrow morning," said Spinelli. Later on that evening, Moses and Slurly the squirrel were going over their plan, and now they were going to make a plague. The next morning, the song about the plagues was playing in the background. However, something wasn't right. Although the frogs and birds were right, the animal deaths were portrayed with scarecrows shooting at them, with lots of other bad stuff happening, like rain becoming poison instead of fire. 35 minutes later, we saw the final battle, which was obviously a cliche of Avengers Endgame. Good team with us, the funny pasta community, and the Egyptians were the bad guys, and the Ramesses were the guards. So the battle was solved by Moses flooding the whole bad team with water. And then the film ended right then and there. I called Dakota Fanning and told her about what I saw was completely true. And after that, I decided to make some dinner. I cooked some chicken parmesan, macaroni and cheese, and fruit cocktail. I just had a very disturbing thought. If the Ashleys were in that bootleg of Prince of Egypt, how would they become alive if they were selling Girl Scout cookies to me? Did they survive or some crap? No one ever told me. The next day, I heard a noise coming out of my shed, and I walked over to find Sonic, had his ring in hand, said, meow? I told him to get out, and then he did. Later on, I got my house, and he was let by Lance's men at night. For some reason, he was Sophia's therapist. Sometimes when Sophia has a nightmare, she asks kindly to sleep in my bed, but for the most part, I get disturbed when she pumps her pillow. Or, dumps it. Gross, I'll tell you, but one thing for a fact, I noticed Sophia was just Alvin, and it's been nice knowing you, but I've got really super pissed. Alvin! And that, my little pretties, was the Prince of Egypt bootleg version. A Prince of Egypt funny pasta written by Matthew Bumford. Matthew Bumford, thank you so much for writing this story. This was highly appreciated. And I have to say, I'm sorry it took a little bit longer than I expected, but I finally had the chance to sit there and do it. So, with that being the case, yeah. What did I think of this story? I actually found this story to be rather nice. It was a really good funny pasta with the Prince of Egypt. Now, I was trying to see if I could find a good Prince of Egypt story, I think like a while ago, and for some reason I couldn't seem to find a good one. But luckily, I managed to find a really good one, which I'm really glad I did because I've been trying to see if I could find one for a while, and for some reason I couldn't sit there and find one. But surprisingly enough, I was able to find one that it was really good. So, I'm going to say right now that this one was actually really well made and detailed. It was just so amazing how the story all began. It was just so funny. I had to take multiple reads of this because, well, I laugh so hard when it comes to these funny pastas. So, I'm going to sit here and say this. This was pretty silly. Despite the fact that, this is a Prince of Egypt, funny pasta. I haven't seen the Prince of Egypt in a long time, to be honest. I think I saw it when I was a kid, but I probably don't remember. I must have been really little when I saw it because, yeah, surprisingly it came out the year I was born, so I might have been really young when I saw this movie. I must have been really young. Maybe I was maybe 5 or 6. Probably just don't remember for watching it, but I gotta watch this movie again because it's been a long time since I've seen it. So with that being the case, I'm going to sit here and say this right now, that this funny pasta actually did pretty good. I do appreciate the good grammar and the sentence structuring, the storyline, and everything about it. It's just flat out amazing when it came to that. So I'm definitely saying this right now, that this was actually a really funny story, and I could definitely say that right now. But I, of course, could say this, that this one was actually really funny. And I definitely have to say, I haven't seen, this movie in a while, so yeah, I'm just saying that right now. I haven't seen this movie in a while. I've just thought I would point it out in case you guys were curious as to know. But with that being the case, I do plan to narrate more of these stories. I'm just not sure when, but I do plan to narrate more of them in the near future. So, with that being the case, I'm going to sit here and, say this right now, and like I always continue to say, well, I know this is not really a long review, but, I just thought, I go ahead and, just kind of want to get it off my chest. So first of all, I'd like to say that this story was actually really well made and amazing. I really liked this story. It was just really well made, really well detailed, and it's just flat out amazing. And I definitely have to say, there's a lot of time and effort when it came to this story. So that's definitely something I'm gonna say right now. I really do like how this story went out. So, with that being said, I'm gonna sit here and say, I do appreciate the good grammar, the good sentence structuring, the storyline, everything about it was just really silly. I'm just gonna say it was really funny. And I know this is a funny pasta. This is not meant to take it seriously. So, I'm just doing that right here because, this is just a really good story, and I really do appreciate the whole concept in this story. Now, I do might consider, narrating that, what was it? Oh yeah, that Prince of Egypt story, cuz I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Like, I remembered seeing it, I think, as a kid, but probably just don't remember. But with that being said, I'm going to sit here and say that right now, that this story was actually really well done, and it was actually well made, and I really do appreciate the good sentence structuring, and I do appreciate, the flow of the story, and it flowed really well. So, with that being the case, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas or funny pastas, because this one is a funny pasta. If you want to call it a creepypasta, that's fine. If you want to call it a funny pasta, that's fine too. So, my final rating of the story would have to be a 10 out of 10. Great funny pasta, really well made. It's so awesome. I really do appreciate this story being really well done. So, with that being the case, what did you guys think about this funny pasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what you have done first to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload, so then you guys won't miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro, because I'm out here, and I'll be catching you all in the next video. So peace out, everyone, and see you all later.